So I went ahead to make my basic body skirt. I have my waistline, hip line, and hemline. So here I'm just going to impute my waistline measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, 1 inch for the seam allowance. And on my hip line, I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4. I'll just mark it there, and I'm going to mark my 1 inch seam allowance. Then on the hemline, whatever I have on the hips line, I'm going to minus 1 inch from it, and I'm going to mark it on the hemline. Next, I'll just go over to make my dart line. So the dart line is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then I'll mark half an inch on both sides of that dart line. So the length of the dart line, I'll be using is 6 inches. So I'm just extending it by 6, and I'll draw a straight row. Also, I'll connect those half inch I came out by. I'm just going to connect it to the 6 inches line over there. So next, I'm just going to connect my seam line. So I'm just going to connect the main body measurement first, then also my seam allowance. So after that, I'm just going to go ahead and label my sewing allowance. So guys, once I was done with this, I'm just going to cut out my skirt. So we're using the front to cut out for the back. So the only difference between the front and the back will be the zipper allowance we'll be having at the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark 1 inch seam allowance for the zipper. So I'll be using 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So after drawing those lines, I'm just going to connect them like so. Mm-mm. So once I was done rolling out the zipper line, I was just going to place the front bodies after the zipper line. So on the zipper line, that's where our front bodies is going to begin. Then I'm just going to cut out every other thing the same. So here we have the skirt bodies pattern. So I'm just going to decide where the basket design is going to begin on the skirt. So I'm just going to mark out where I want the basket design to begin on the skirt. So I'm just going to rule that line I made. So if you want it shorter, if you want, depends on you, any length you want your basket design to be. So you just mark it out, then use your scissors to cut it out. So I'm just going to mark there my basket pattern. So I went ahead to cut out my skirt bodies. This is the front and this is the back. So I'm just going to place them aside. Then I also went ahead to cut out strips of different sizes. So this is what we are going to be using for the basket designs. So guys, this is the front bodies of the basket. I opened it up. So this is what we have. I'm just going to the center of the front bodies. So after getting the center of your front bodies, we are going to go over like so and mark out 1.5 inches. That will be like the space interval we'll have on the basket design. So I'm just marking 1.5 inch all through this pattern on the front bodies. So I'm also going to do same on the other side of the front bodies. Mark 1.5 inches all through to the other end like so. And I'm just going to straighten out those lines. So after I was done for the straight line, we are going to go over on the sides also. I'm also mark 1.5 inches on the sides of the front bodies. So I'm just going to do it also on the other side. After marking out 1.5 inches, we're also going to connect it like so. So I'm just going to connect those lines. So guys, I was done sewing for the back bodies and also for the front, and this is what we have. So I'll go over and indicate where my zipper allowance should be. So guys, we should know where the zipper allowance is going to be. So I'm just going to mark zipper allowance. We'll be joining it later with the allowance we left for the zipper. So we left 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So later on I'll be marking 1 inch for the zipper allowance like so. So I'm just measuring 1 inch. We'll be joining the zipper allowance with 1 inch later on, but first we're just going to join the front bodies to the back bodies with the seam allowance we left. So I'm just going to go over and join with 1 inch seam allowance. So guys, I was done joining the side seam, and this is what I have here. So next, you're just going to start taking off the paper. So guys, we're just going to pull off the paper gently. So it really isn't difficult taking out the paper. So we're just going to start tearing out the papers we have here. So guys, I was done taking out the paper, and this is what I have. This is what the front side looks like. So next we'll be going over to the hem, and we'll be folding in the hem like so. So I'm just going to fold in the hem. So let me just turn it over to the wrong side. So guys, we'll be hemming it like so. Take it to a sewing machine, then hem the down. So guys, I was done hemming the down part of the basket design. Next we'll be joining it to the skirt. I already went ahead to sew the skirt to an extent, so we'll be joining it at the hem of the skirt. So I'm just going to place the basket design right side facing the right side of the skirt. Then I'll place it like so. Then I'll place the lining on the basket design. That means the basket design will be at the middle, in between the skirt and the lining. So I'm just going to place it all around to the other end of the skirt. Then we'll be sewing by half an inch. We'll be joining the hem by half an inch. So I'm just going to finish up and show you how it looks. So guys, this is what the skirt came out like. So if you find this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel, like and share. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.